The morning light spills through the window. A soft tune hums in the background. The air feels calm, like a promise of something gentle. You take a deep breath and feel the weight of your body. It's a quiet reminder that your spine carries every moment of your life. Each step, each smile, each small twist of the body depends on it. For years, we move without noticing how much the spine does for us. Until one day, stiffness whispers in the lower back. The body begins to ask for attention, not in pain, but in need of care. That's where this story begins. A story of movement, breath, and rediscovery. Today, we explore a gentle practice called knee-to-toe bends. It's not about pushing limits or chasing perfection. It's about listening to your body and moving with kindness. It's a simple way to bring strength and flexibility back to your spine, especially for older adults who wish to stay active and free. So find a quiet space, take a deep breath, and let's begin this journey. Together, one bend, one breath at a time. The sun rose gently over the small town. Birds sang from the garden outside Evelyn's window. She sat at her kitchen table, a cup of tea warming her hands. The world outside looked peaceful, yet her body felt heavy. Every morning, she noticed the same stiffness in her lower back. A dull ache, not painful but enough to make her pause. She used to start her days with long walks around the park. Now, even tying her shoes felt like a small challenge. Her reflection in the window looked thoughtful, almost questioning. When did her body start feeling so unfamiliar? She remembered her doctor's gentle words last month. "Your spine is your center, Evelyn," he had said. "Treat it kindly, and it will carry you far." Those words lingered in her mind like a quiet melody. The spine, she thought, it truly is the core of everything. It supports, it bends, it holds us upright through every year. And yet, we forget about it until it complains. She smiled faintly, realizing how much she had taken it for granted. Outside, the trees swayed softly in the breeze. Their trunks stood tall, their branches flexible and alive. She imagined her spine as one of those trees, rooted in strength, but needing care to stay supple. She wanted to feel that lightness again, the one she once had. The freedom to move without hesitation or fear of strain. That afternoon, she visited the local community center. The sound of soft music and laughter filled the room. A group of seniors were stretching, their movements calm and slow. The instructor, a kind woman named Maya, welcomed her warmly. "Come join us," Maya said with a gentle smile. Evelyn hesitated, feeling unsure of her body's limits. But something in Maya's calm tone made her step forward. The session began with deep breathing. "Inhale peace, exhale tension," Maya's voice guided them softly. Then small movements followed, shoulder rolls, arm lift, gentle bends. Evelyn felt her body slowly awaken, like a door opening to life. Each breath seemed to smooth away a layer of stiffness. For the first time in months, she didn't feel trapped in her own body. After class, Maya sat beside her and spoke kindly. "Movement isn't about perfection," she said. "It's about awareness, listening, letting the body teach you." Evelyn nodded, feeling the truth in those simple words. That evening back home, she stood before the mirror again. Her back still ached slightly, but her posture felt more alive. She took a deep breath and raised her arms slowly. Her reflection smiled back, small but full of hope. The spine, she thought, wasn't broken or weak. It was just waiting for her to pay attention again. And as the sun dipped behind the hills, she whispered to herself, "I'm ready to begin, one gentle bend at a time." The next morning, sunlight poured softly through the curtains. Evelyn woke early, her body still remembering yesterday's class. The gentle stretches had left her calm, yet curious for more. She dressed slowly, put on her walking shoes, and returned to the center. Inside, the same peaceful music greeted her like an old friend. Maya was already there, arranging yoga mats in a neat circle. "Good morning, Evelyn," she said warmly. "Today, we'll explore something new, knee-to-toe bends." Evelyn tilted her head, a little unsure of what that meant. Maya smiled, sensing her curiosity. "It's a simple, safe movement that keeps your spine healthy," she explained. "Perfect for older adults who want to stay flexible and strong." The class gathered, forming a quiet circle of anticipation. Maya stood tall, feet apart, her posture calm and graceful. "Start by standing comfortably," she said. "Your knees soft, your feet shoulder-width apart. Now take a deep breath in. Feel your spine lengthen as you rise. Exhale slowly and bend just a little, letting your hands move toward your knees." Evelyn followed carefully, feeling her body's gentle resistance. Her knees bent, her spine leaned forward slightly. It wasn't about reaching far, it was about moving with kindness. Maya's voice continued, smooth like a lullaby. "Keep your back straight, your breath steady. Don't push, don't force. Let your body guide the motion." Evelyn could feel each breath sinking with the slow rhythm. Inhale, lift and expand. Exhale, bend and release. The air in the room felt alive with calm concentration. Some students used chairs for support, others held onto each other. There was no rush, no competition, only quiet connection. Maya explained as they moved, her words soft but clear. "This exercise helps the spine stay flexible. It strengthens the muscles that protect your back. It also improves balance and keeps the blood flowing through your joints." Evelyn felt warmth spreading through her lower back. A comforting sensation, like sunlight touching her skin. The movement was simple, yet powerful in its gentleness. She realized that for years, she had avoided bending out of fear. Fear of pain, of losing balance, of doing something wrong. But here in this calm space, that fear began to fade. Maya ended the session with slow breathing and gratitude. "Place your hands on your heart," she said. "Thank your body for showing up today." Evelyn closed her eyes and smiled softly. Her body had shown up, her spirit had too. After class, she stayed behind, asking Maya questions. "Can I do this at home?" she asked. "Every morning, maybe by the window." Maya nodded, her eyes kind and encouraging. "Absolutely," she said. "Start small, let your breath lead." Evelyn promised herself she would try. As she walked home, the world seemed brighter. Her steps were lighter, her back felt freer. And in her heart, she carried a new sense of hope. Not from something grand or complicated, but from a simple bend, a quiet motion, a promise to care. The next morning arrived with soft golden light spilling across the room. Evelyn stood by her window, the same one where she used to sip her tea. Outside, the garden glistened with dew, and a gentle breeze moved the leaves. She took a deep breath and remembered Maya's calm voice. "Start small, let your breath lead." She placed a chair nearby for support, just in case. Her hands rested lightly on the back of the chair. Her feet were shoulder-width apart, her knees relaxed. For a moment, she simply stood still, listening to her heartbeat. Then she began. A slow inhale. A gentle bend toward her knees. Her back moved carefully, cautiously, as though testing its memory. The first motion felt strange, unfamiliar yet awakening. She paused, straightened up slowly, and exhaled with relief. Her knees felt steady, her balance secure. "Listen to your body," she whispered, echoing Maya's words. The second bend came a little easier. Her breath and movement began to flow together. It was not about how far she could reach, but how present she could be. Each movement was like a quiet conversation with her body. A question, a response, a moment of understanding. By the third repetition, her back felt looser, her breath smoother. The morning light touched her hair, and she smiled. It wasn't effort, it was rhythm. Bend, breathe, rise. Like the ocean's tide, gentle and patient. She noticed the tension in her shoulders melting away. Her spine felt longer, her chest open, her steps grounded. It was as if every slow motion washed away years of stiffness. Her thoughts drifted to the days she ignored her body's signals. How many times had she rushed through mornings, forgetting to breathe? How many times had she asked her body to move, without offering kindness? Now she was learning to listen again, to respect the pauses, the limits, the wisdom in the quiet. After 10 minutes, she stopped and stood tall. Her breathing was deep, steady, full of calm strength. Her back didn't ache, it hummed softly with warmth. She realized something beautiful in that silence. The body doesn't need perfection. It needs patience. It needs to be heard. She placed her hand gently on her heart. The air around her felt light, alive, forgiving. This was not just exercise. It was a form of gratitude for every breath, every small motion that still belonged to her. As she turned toward the window again, sunlight filled her face. In that golden stillness, Evelyn felt something new. Not youth returning, but peace settling in. And as the morning stretched on, she knew one truth clearly. Healing was not about doing more. It was about slowing down enough to feel. Days turned into weeks, and Evelyn's mornings began to change. The quiet stillness of dawn became her favorite time of day. Each sunrise felt like an invitation to begin again, gently and calmly. She would roll out her mat by the window, feeling the cool floor beneath her feet. The chair stood nearby, though she rarely needed it now. Her movements had grown steadier, her breath deeper, her confidence stronger. Every morning began the same way. Inhale, exhale, soften the body. Then the rhythm returned. Bend, breathe, rise. The motion flowed like a quiet dance, slow and graceful. Her back no longer felt like a burden she carried. It felt like a part of her story, learning to move again. Evelyn started to notice the world differently. The ache that once lingered in her lower back was fading. Her posture straightened, her steps became lighter. Even her mood lifted, like a curtain drawn to let light in. The small things, tying her shoes, watering her plants, no longer felt hard. They became moments of gratitude, reminders of her growing strength. One morning at the park, her friends noticed the change. "You look taller, Evelyn," one of them said with surprise. She laughed softly, touching her spine with pride. "I just learned how to stand again," she replied. Her friends asked what she was doing differently, and she told them about the knee-to-toe bends. How simple they were, how kind they felt, how they made her body feel alive again. Curious, a few of them joined her the next day at home. They formed a small circle in her living room, mats spread across the floor. Evelyn guided them with gentle words, just as Maya had guided her. "Don't rush," she said. "Let your breath lead, feel every movement." Together they bent and breathed, a harmony of quiet focus. Laughter filled the room when someone wobbled or lost balance. But no one felt embarrassed, only light and free. Evelyn realized how healing could be shared, how strength could ripple outward. Her friends began coming over every week, eager for more. The group became a ritual: tea after movement, stories after stretches. Every smile, every deep breath reminded her of how far she had come. She wasn't chasing youth or perfection. She was nurturing something deeper: consistency. The quiet, daily promise to show up for herself. Even on days when her body felt tired, she still moved gently. Because she knew progress was not measured in how far she bent. It was measured in how kindly she listened. And as the weeks passed, Evelyn's reflection changed again. Her shoulders stood tall, her gaze bright, her presence calm. In that still mirror, she no longer saw age or weakness. She saw resilience, the quiet power of moving, one breath at a time. One afternoon, after her morning routine, Evelyn sat by the window with a book. The title read, The Science of Movement. She smiled, curious to understand what her body already knew by feeling. The pages spoke of the spine, a column of bones, discs, and nerves, each part working silently to keep the body upright and balanced. She traced her fingers along the page, imagining her own spine like a gentle wave, flexible, strong, and alive. The book explained how simple movements could nourish the spine, how bending forward increased circulation to the lower back, how stretching the hamstrings released pressure from tight joints, and how deep breathing supported the nervous system, calming both body and mind. Evelyn thought of her mornings, her bends, her breaths. It all made sense now. Every motion she had practiced was a message to her body. You are safe. She remembered Maya's words again. Don't force it, just listen. And she realized that listening was science too, just in a quieter way. The muscles around the spine, she learned, acted like gentle guards. When strengthened slowly, they protected her from pain. When moved with care, they stayed flexible and strong. She closed the book, smiling with new appreciation. Her daily bends were no longer just movements, they were medicine. Not from a pill or a prescription, but from awareness. Later that week, she shared what she learned with her group. As they gathered in her living room, she spoke softly. Do you know what's happening inside when we bend? She asked. Her friends leaned closer, curious. Our spine gets nourished. The discs get tiny boosts of oxygen. The muscles relax. They nodded, eyes bright with understanding. And every breath we take tells our body we're calm, not in danger. The room felt warm with a shared sense of wonder. Evelyn continued to guide them through their gentle routine. Bend, breathe, rise, the rhythm now a familiar melody between them. She could see how their faces softened, how tension faded away. In each slow bend, they weren't just stretching. They were rewiring the body to trust itself again. The science was simple, yet deeply human. Movement connected to memory. Breath connected to peace. Awareness connected to healing. After class, her friend Clara placed a hand on her shoulder. You know, she said, I haven't slept this well in years. Evelyn smiled, feeling her heart swell with quiet joy. That night, as she looked at her reflection again, she whispered softly, This is what healing looks like. No drama, no rush, no perfection, just care and consistency. Her spine felt strong, her breath steady, her mind clear. She closed her eyes and let gratitude fill her chest. Science had confirmed what her soul already understood. The body heals through kindness, through breath, through gentle motion. And sometimes, the simplest bend can change everything. Morning light shimmered through the trees as Evelyn walked to the park. The air smelled of grass and calm, rain from the night before. Her steps were steady, her posture tall, her spirit light. The park was already alive with soft chatter and laughter. Her small group of friends was there, mats rolled out under the old oak tree. They waved when they saw her, smiles bright like sunlight. Evelyn waved back, her heart full of warmth. She placed her mat beside them, took a deep breath, and felt peace settle in. The sound of birds mixed with the soft rhythm of their breathing. This was their new ritual, a shared rhythm of care and connection. No one spoke much, but everything was said through movement. They began their knee-to-toe bends together, in slow harmony. Inhale, bend, exhale, rise. The grass brushed their feet, the wind carried their quiet laughter. Each breath felt like gratitude. Each motion, a small act of love for their aging bodies. Evelyn looked around and saw strength in every face. Not the kind measured in muscle or speed, but in grace. grace to keep moving, grace to keep believing in the body's wisdom. She realized how far she had come from those stiff mornings. The days when bending even slightly felt uncertain. Now her body felt like music, soft, steady, and full of rhythm. She thought about what Maya once said in class. Movement isn't just about health, it's about freedom. And she understood it now, fully, deeply. Freedom wasn't something outside of her. It was in her spine, her breath, her ability to move without fear. After the session, they sat together on the grass. The sun touched their faces, warm and kind. Clara laughed and said, "I feel like I'm 30 again." Evelyn chuckled. "We're not chasing youth," she said softly. "We're just remembering how to live in our bodies." The group nodded, the words settling like truth in their hearts. They spoke about how movement had changed their days, how mornings felt brighter, nights calmer, and hearts lighter. For Evelyn, the journey was no longer about her back or posture. It was about belonging to herself, to this circle, to the moment. She realized that every small bend was a thank you. A thank you to her spine for carrying her through a lifetime. A thank you to her breath for steadying her in difficult days. A thank you to time for teaching her patience. As the afternoon sun began to fade, they packed their mats slowly. Evelyn stood for a moment, gazing at the golden sky. Her shadow stretched long, graceful, grounded. She whispered quietly to herself, "This is enough, this is joy." And as the breeze wrapped around her shoulders, she smiled. Movement had become her prayer. Each bend a whisper of gratitude. Each breath a promise to keep living with softness and grace. And in that simple, steady rhythm, she had found her freedom. The evening sun dipped low, painting the sky in gold and rose. Evelyn stood by her window, her mat still warm beneath her feet. The air felt still, filled with the quiet peace of a day well lived. She took a deep breath, her spine tall, her body soft. Each inhale carried gratitude, each exhale released old fears. She thought of her journey, the stiffness, the patience, the return of freedom. Every morning bend had become more than a movement. It was a conversation between her heart and her body. A promise to care, to listen, to stay gentle with herself. Outside, the trees swayed like they were breathing too. She smiled, feeling part of something larger, something kind. Health, she realized, was not in chasing perfection. It was in choosing presence, one breath at a time. As the last light faded, she whispered softly to the quiet air, "Thank you, body, for carrying me." And with that, she closed her eyes and smiled again. Every bend, every breath had led her here. Home, not to a place, but to peace within herself.